Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the final day of my 12 animal analysis of what's happening in 2020 and what to look forward in 2021. Today, we're going to be talking about the rat. Hi, my name is Kathleen Zemansky. I'm a business feng shui master, business astrologer, and the creator of the Time Blazer business management system. And what I would love for you to do, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I really appreciate you stopping by today. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, comment, like, share, and make sure you ring that bell so you get all of the notifications, because there's a lot of information I want to give you throughout the next year. Okay, the first thing we're going to have you do, though, is grab the chart for yourself at freebusinessastrology.com. And while you're in there, you may want to run the charts for the people that you care most about, your friends, your family, your staff, your coworkers, as well as the people that have really annoyed you this year. This is a good opportunity for you to understand why they act the way that they do. So if you have their birth information, go ahead and plug that in. What you're going to see is a chart that looks like this, but with your personal information on it. And to me, this is your roadmap to your life destiny, but you get to create what you want. But we're going to talk just about your natal chart. We'll talk about all these other components throughout the course of the next year, so I can help you get through what is sizing up to be another not so great year. So sorry about that spoiler alert, but I think everybody kind of is attuned to that it's going to still be a pretty rough year for next year. And how do we navigate around that? All right, so we're going to look at your natal chart in these 4 pillars. Each pillar is weighted at 25%. So let's just break them down one by one. The year of birth, this is about your social circles and the people that you choose to hang around with. And what I would absolutely suggest is that you really start thinking about these networks and how well that they can help you, because it's not always what you know. As you've heard before, it's who you know. And so once you get these higher level people to help you, your life is going to be easier. Therefore, your networking efforts are going to be easier. And we have an opportunity with this ridiculous disruption that we've had, is the opportunities to network around the world. Everyone is online right now. And this is another thing that the year of birth can indicate for you, is what is the best way for you to get your message out there with all the noise that there is. Is it better to be doing a podcast or video or writing a blog or a combination of them? That's what your year of birth is about. Now, even though I speak mostly about business, I also strongly believe that we're working very hard for what? To have a beautiful lifestyle. So if you want to know this piece of it, this is about your ancestors, and this is about your grandparents and before. And then you were born, and they gave you a certain destiny just because of who they were. Now, it's your job, now that you're born, for you to make the most of your chart. There's no victim here. This is about how you can have a better life, right? Okay, so that's about your year of birth. Your month of birth is about your career, what you're best suited at, as well as your character, which the annual influences can absolutely make a big shift in your character. Your month of birth is also about your parents as well as your health. So, literally the astrology readings that I do for my clients is very much about business, but if you're not healthy and well, so I really, if the question is asked, of course we'll look at this, and this is going to give you, there's so many indicators in your chart about health, but this one is going to start telling you some things that you should be watching out for. So prevention is so much easier to handle than once you're in a chronic situation. So this is where the information holds for you, is in your month of birth. Your day of birth is one of my favorites, because this is where I believe you have the most control over, because this is about your personal growth. You can choose to be a victim, or you can choose to be a better person. So this is why I encourage all of my clients to do some personal growth. And I have it even embedded into my programs, which I call the Universal Gateway, to start manifesting things that we want to bring in our life. But you have to have a good mindset to do this. If your mindset is the monkey mind and just, you're never going to get what you want, because you're always repelling it versus just calling it in and embracing it, right? So this is what your day of birth is about. It is also about your partnerships and people very close to you. Of course, you're going to reveal to people in your life things that are more intimate about yourself. You don't dump all of that onto your social circles. When people say, "How are you?" most likely you will just do the blanketed, "Oh, I'm fine," or "Yeah, best as I can be." Well, the day of birth people, the people that you allow past your year, month, and day, these are the people that you have a more reciprocal relationship with, where you will give your heart and soul to. Okay, so this is relating to partnerships that you have in life. Now, your hour of birth is about your research and development. It is about your goals, and no matter what you want to achieve in life, this is the path. This is giving you the indication, what is the best thing that I should be doing to achieve those goals. This is about your legacy, your life purpose. So this is what now you're going to pass on to your next ancestors, if you will, is your children. So this relates to your children's palace. If you don't have children, then maybe you have a tribe or community that you're going to be passing down the wisdom that you have learned throughout your life. And this is also relating to your investments. This is about the money that you have accumulated over the course of your life, and what do you do with it. So if you haven't been too smart about the investment piece of it, maybe now's the time to start looking at it. I do acknowledge that you may not know your hour of birth, but I have also told you about your year, month, and day, and maybe that's a little bit more you knew about than before listening to me today. So don't be disheartened that you may not know your hour of birth, because there's quite a bit that you can still gain through the 3 pillars I just spoke about. Okay, now we're going to talk about the rat. So the rat in 2020 has 3 stars, as well as in 2021, but they have a very different energetic. So let's talk about what the rat is about. First of all, this year, it was a very particular year. And the reason why it was so particular is, one, it's a metal rat. And at my annual event, I even alluded to winter is coming as a throwback to the Game of Thrones, if you watch that series. But there was this wall of snow and ice, and there was one of the families that was their sort of slogan is winter is coming. Well, winter did come, as we saw, and we have been in seclusion, if you will, locked down for several months now. There is some movement, but then we've got this new wave that is coming that looks like it's going to be worse than ever. And I did talk about that at my annual event in January, before the pandemic hit here, that we would have super viruses, we'd be wearing face coverings, and that the economy was going to tank. So all of this was already prescribed for thousands and thousands of years. Now, truthfully, I didn't know it was going to be this bad, nor did anyone else, and anyone that tells you that they did. I don't believe them, but all right, but we did know that it was going to be a bad super virus for sure. Okay, with that said, we also knew that this was the beginning of a new cycle of the 12 animals. The cycle begins with the rat. And so this was a new setting of the next 12 years. Then we're on the cusp of another big shift from the Chinese astrological perspective, in other astrological perspectives as well, but I follow Chinese astrology. But this one is telling us that we are going into period 9. Again, I spoke about this at my annual event in 2020 in January, that we're on the cusp of this change, and it is happening probably by the time you see this, you're gonna be feeling the shift of period 9. I'm gonna go more into period 9 at my event, but right now I want to focus on the rat. But just know big change is still about to come. So when we're in the influx of change, we have to leave behind old ideas, old ways of doing things, and embrace and really walk towards this new norm, if you will. It's chaos theory, if you will. So everything is just feels like you just as a little girl, we used to play this game called jacks, where you would have these kind of prickly prong like metal things, and you'd throw them up in the air, and then you'd bounce a ball, and then you'd pick up these jacks in a certain way. And it was kind of like that. It's like, or pickup sticks is another analogy, where you would throw things up in the air and fall where they may. Well, everything's still up in the air right now. Some pieces are starting to fall into place, as in there are opportunities for people and things like that. But we also are seeing that there still is some fringe out here that is not in place. And it's going to take several years for things to get in place. So here's the spoiler alert. We're going to have a couple of years of uncertainty as we find our new path into this new period, which is period 9, going into that. Again, we'll talk about that at my annual event, but I just wanted you to be aware that this was pretty much going to happen. We didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but as I said at the beginning of this recording, when I started talking about all of these big shifts, I had said at my annual event, winter is coming. So we have to still go through some processes before we get out of this. And so finding the best way to me is understanding what's in your astrology, what's in your feng shui and flying star of your space, what's in the timing that you can trigger to make things happen for you that's personalized to you, and using the universal intelligence of the universal gateway. To me, that's a recipe for success, as well as helping you get out of some of the rough spots. Okay. All right. Let's specifically talk about the rat. I just felt that it was important to tell you that just kind of recapping what happened for the year and why we're in a bit of this predicament is because it was bound to happen in some way or fashion, that we were not going to be. And that was another thing that I told people at my annual event is start looking for different ways to do your business, because this is how you've done things in the past is not going to be, by the end of the year, how you're going to be operating your business. And that has been very true in many circumstances. Obviously, people have lost a lot, but there's also, in this disruption, there's also people who have gained tremendously. So I hope you're on the other side of it. But if you're not, hopefully we'll find a way, at least for you to understand better and how you can help yourself. All right. Let's go back to the 2020 information. So the 2020 for the rat, even though it was also considered what's called the Grand Duke, that is when you're the year of. Now going into 2021, the Grand Duke is going to be with the ox, because it's going to be a metal ox year. So, but this year in 2020, it's with the rat. So already that was already having a little bit of challenge because of that. But it also had some good energy nonetheless. So the rats were able to lead with power and authority, and potentially even getting some sort of new title, if you will. But this new positioning, if you will, also had you make some big decisions that could literally catapult you from one place to the other. So hopefully, again, you were able to find opportunity in this disruption. This also was a year for you to ask the right questions to unlock your wealth. So you could have actually had a good wealth potential this year if you were had the courage, if you will, to go out and ask for it. It could have happened anyway, but if you haven't received any type of bonus or that at this point, I would start asking pretty darn quick because this year is starting to close down. Then the other is that the eyes were all on you, so it was beneficial for you to offer value. So since you were sort of in the spotlight anyway, this was something that I would have encouraged you to continue to do throughout the rest of the metal rat, is to really bring value to your community, your tribe, your clients, and things like that. And there was a good opportunity to have some overnight success as well if you had the rat in your chart. Okay, now moving on to 2021. Again, hopefully you were using all of the energy of 2020 so we could bring in this energetics into, because you build upon this, right? Because you're making conscious choices to use this energy, because if you don't, it just dissolves and go away. So, excuse me. So the rat had these three great potentials this year. So they had this brain power, fantastic for learning and honing a new skill, maybe something that needed to be needs upgrading. So figure that out now before the year starts, so that you're really prepared, already enrolled, and there's so much online learning at this point. And truthfully, I would really highly suggest you choose something that you're going to, especially if you need the money, choose something that you can monetize. If you're, way past retirement and you're just doing it for fulfillment, okay. But if you are still in the workforce or have your own company and you have a rat in your chart, figure out where you can up your game. Again, people are going to have to be smarter and work smarter as we move forward. Okay, then in 2021, of all the 12 animals of the zodiac, the rat has the most favorable partnership and relationship energy. So you have this law of attraction where everyone is just kind of like, wow, look at that, look at her, look at him. So you have this sort of visibility. So I want you to use that to your best ability as well. Now, this is also going to be very good for you as far as sales, because it's going to be easier to buy from someone who has this magnetism versus someone who is kind of a grumpy old, conundrum. So this is something I want you to think about as well, is how do you want to show up in front of your audience or your tribe, your clients, your suppliers, things like that. Okay, now the last one that the rat will have an opportunity to help them along next year is that they will have this energy that will give them a bit of relief from the issues and obstacles that might be holding you back. So again, work on that mindset. That's going to help you. And the first step really is awareness. So once you identify the problem, then you'll have some opportunities to resolve it. But if you're not even aware that you have a problem or are refusing to address it, it's going to be difficult. So really take that telescopic look at what you might want to be reversing in a more positive stride for yourself without going in a rabbit hole. I'm not talking about beating yourself up. I'm talking about awareness. It's very different, okay? All right, so here's a couple tools I'd like to tell you about that can help you along the year as well. Is grab a copy of my book, Navigate Successfully 2021, The Metal Ox. And in that book, I talk about person, space, time, and universe, which would be astrology, would be the feng shui, the annual feng shui, the annual flying star, the timing to help trigger opportunities for you that will help and make your life easier, as well as accessing that universal gateway of universal intelligence to manifest what you want. In addition to that, I'd highly recommend that you grab a ticket to my annual event. It's a 2-day event this year where we're going to talk about all of that as well. So there's going to be additional information that I will be giving you on top of what's in that book. So you may want to grab both of them, and you can get that that at bit.ly/metalox, and the book link is below as well. Okay, well, there you go. We went all the way around the zodiac. I hope you got a lot of value from that. And really what I want you to do is, maybe re-listen to those videos and share them with people that you feel that this information would be valuable to. I would really appreciate that. Go ahead and subscribe, and then also hit that bell for any notifications that are coming your way. And what I would really love for you to do is tell me what animal you have in your year of birth. That is going to be about your taking that first step to network up and have a better opportunity for 2021. Okay, thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.